Kirsten
Tulsi
Gillibrand. Oh, monstrous.
Monstrous?
Ideas. No, she's an Assad toady. I think that I used that word correctly. Toadie. I don't remember the details. I think she's like the motherlode of bad ideas.
By most assessments, a Russian asset.
Is that how you consider her? Is that what you consider
yes.
her?
Oh, yes.
I mean, are you envisioning another Hitler? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying.
Here we go again. After President Trump's decisive win, some might even call it a landslide, the Democrats are returning to their roots. Russia, Russia, Russia. But this time, instead of accusing Russia of stealing the election for President Trump, they're just accusing everyone around him of being a Russian asset. And of course, the person getting the brunt of all of this is Tulsi Gabbard. Now, Joe Rogan recently brought up Tulsi on his recent podcast with Barry Weiss, and well, this 2-minute exchange is the perfect embodiment of everything wrong with left-wing narratives right now.
Kirsten
Tulsi
Gillibrand. Oh, monstrous.
Monstrous?
Ideas.
Well, when she was 22, she had...
No, she's an Assad toady.
What does that mean?
She is
What's a toady?
I think that I used that word correctly. Jamie, can you check what toady means?
Like toeing the line? Is that what it means?
No, I think it's like a Toadie.
What does that mean?
I think it means what I think it means.
Toady. Definition of toadies. A person
A
who
sycophant,
flatters or defers to others
I
for
kinda used it right.
self-serving reasons.
A sycophant.
So she's an Assad sycophant. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, that's known about her.
Like, what did she say that
We have to look.
qualifies her?
I don't remember the details.
We
I've read
probably
it.
should say that before we say that about her. We should probably read it, rather.
Well, I have read it.
No, I mean, we should now.
Oh, yeah. Okay.
Just so we know what she said.
Look up
I've had her
Tulsi
on
Gabbard.
here before.
Look
and I
up
really
Tul-
enjoyed talking to her. I like her a lot.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I like talking to her.
Okay,
I like
okay.
talking to her. I don't know about...
I think she's like the motherlode of bad ideas.
Whoa.
I'm pretty positive about that, especially on Assad. But maybe I'm wrong. I don't think I'm wrong.
Well, my take on her was that I think as a person who's coming from the left, who's also a veteran and is very articulate and sensible and a woman, and in talking to her, we didn't get into Assad or any of those things, but talking to her about what she feels is wrong with the current administration and the way things are running and a direction she thinks things could go in. She had some very promising ideas. I didn't know about this.
But doesn't she also, did she ever apologize for believing in conversion therapy?
I didn't even know she believed in conversion therapy.
Am I crazy?
I mean, if you're going to go on a national platform and besmirch someone's name, you should at least have your facts right. And if you're going to use an insult to insult someone else, then at the very least, you should know what that word means. Or else, how in the world do you expect us to believe anything else that you're saying? Now, Barry Weiss used to write for the New York Times, but she actually quit the Times because she didn't like how woke the paper had become, and she thought that the paper had abandoned its journalistic principles. So she started the Free Press, and, she is left-leaning, of course, but is considered to be closer to the center than most journalists, and in fact, people like Megyn Kelly like her. So the reason I brought this clip up is if someone like Barry Weiss is falling for this because she is still blinded by the mainstream media matrix, then it's no wonder that so many people in the country are falling for fake news stories. Now, she called Tulsi Gabbard an Assad toady. None of that is true. None of that is verifiable. What is verified is that Tulsi did meet with Assad, and she did say that, quote, he's not an enemy of the United States, but what she meant by that was that he doesn't pose a direct threat to the country. Yes, of course, his values are antithetical to our own, but it's not like he's plotting an attack on the homeland or plotting an attack on any of our overseas embassies, right? So her whole point of view, Tulsi Gabbard's that is, her whole point of view is, hey, let's not start needless wars and let's not make enemies unless someone poses a direct threat to the country. We might not like what they're doing, but that doesn't mean we have to go in and bomb them and destroy them. Her view is a little more isolationist, and because Tulsi dared say that, all of a sudden, she's a war criminal, a lover, and she's a sycophant, and she's a toady, as Bari Weiss said. None of that is true. Now, of course, this isn't just coming from the journalist. This is also being pushed by the Democrat Party. Debbie Wasserman Schultz, remember her? Well, she recently came out of hiding, went on MSNBC just to attack Tulsi Gabbard.
Tulsi Gabbard is someone who has met with war criminals, violated the Department of State's guidance, and secretly, clandestinely went to Syria and met with Assad, who gassed and attacked his own people with chemical weapons. She's considered to be essentially, by most assessments, a Russian asset, and would be the most dangerous.
Is that how you consider her? Is that what you consider her?
Oh, yes. There's no question.
That is an opinion, not a fact. There has never been anyone in the U.S. government or any agency that designated those names and terms to Tulsi Gabbard. By the way, isn't it interesting that Wasserman Schultz has seemingly come out of nowhere again? Well, apparently she's been in hiding because she's had her own controversy over alleged Pakistani plants and assets. Oh, the irony. According to the Daily Caller, exclusive House Intelligence Foreign Affairs Committee members compromised by rogue IT staff. In the article, 3 brothers who managed office information technology for members of the House Permanent Select Committee on Intelligence and other lawmakers were abruptly relieved of their duties on suspicion that they accessed congressional computers without permission. Brothers Abid Imran and Jamal Awan were barred from computer networks at the House of Representatives Thursday. And yes, they were accused of being Pakistani assets and spies, but that is not all. It gets even worse. They actually compromised Representative Debbie Wasserman Schultz, but that's not all. She personally paid them $20,000. It is estimated that they earned over $100,000 during their stint working for the House. And then Wasserman Schultz, like I said, paid them $20,000 of her own money. And then as they were being investigated, it was reported by the Tennessee Star that Wasserman Schultz actually screamed at a House official over Imran Awan. And as you can see, she even admitted to intervening in Pakistan on his behalf. But that's not all. There was actually a federal investigation into the brothers, and this right here is the perfect example of how the mainstream media works over time to protect their Democrat allies. So here's how the Washington Post reported on that investigation. Ex-congressional IT staffer, singular, reaches plea deal that debunks conspiracy theories about illegal information access. But what the Washington Post doesn't admit anywhere in that article is that it was a sweetheart plea deal, which, by the way, sweetheart deals are often considered to be highly unethical. It's when the parties agree to a compromise deal because the party in question has ratted someone else out. Maybe they've given up information that they wouldn't otherwise. It's essentially a CYA for both parties. And what the Post is doing there is, they didn't report the fact that it was a sweetheart plea deal, but instead it was, oh, there's no conspiracy here. The Democrats, they weren't hiring Pakistani assets and plants. It's just unproven. But, the reader's opinion would change if they knew it was a sweetheart plea deal. And hey, that's what Fox News actually reported. But it was buried in their article, according to Fox News. He was arrested as he tried to fly away to Pakistan and has since pled guilty to bank fraud charges, which, by the way, were not even the original charges against him, in a sweetheart plea deal from the Department of Justice that became a key part of that massive cover-up. And again, just to remind you, Debbie Wasserman Schultz paid him at least $20,000, and he got over 6 figures while he was here. So she is directly tied to him. No one is accusing her of being a Pakistani asset. Meanwhile, Tulsi Gabbard, just tries to go overseas. She tries to do diplomacy rather than creating enemies. She has no known financial ties to anyone, and she's all of a sudden a Russian asset? Give me a break about this double standard. It's not just Debbie Wasserman Schultz, it's not just Bari Weiss, this is also being touted by former CIA Director John Brennan. According to Brennan, serious questions about Tulsi Gabbard's political sympathies cozying up to Putin. And he also said that, she doesn't have the temperament, she doesn't have the judgment to be Director of National Intelligence, which is funny because, he wants to talk about temperament, he wants to talk about judgment. Well, It was his CIA, under his direction, that spied on the Senate, that spied on Senate staffers, according to CNN. CIA apologizing for spying on Senate committee. This was also reported by many other sources, including The Guardian. CIA admits to spying on Senate staffers. CIA director apologizes for improper conduct of agency staff. One senator even called on John Brennan to resign. So, he wants to talk about temperament, judgment. Well, that's what he did when he was in a position of power. Of course, this is just the 2024 version of Russia, Russia, Russia. Instead of accusing Russia of stealing the election for Trump, now they're just saying everyone who works for Trump is a Russian asset. And of course, what are they doing? They're calling President Trump Hitler now. Yeah, they've been hinting at it since Trump came down that golden escalator, but this is the first time I've seen a high-ranking government official just flat out say it. So James Clyburn went on Fox News, and instead of towing that line, he just jumped right over it and is flat out calling Trump Hitler. Here's what James Clyburn had to say.
But now they are seeing it.
Well, how are you seeing it? He's not president yet. I mean, are you visiting another Hitler? Is that what you're saying?
That's exactly what I'm saying. I said the 1930s in Germany.
Yes, you did.
And, of course, and we can go to Mussolini in Italy. These things...
So you don't think that's a little hyperbolic?
No, you may think so.
Okay.
I'll tell you what's hyperbolic is asking the Senate to approve all your nominees without any vetting. That's what's happened.
That right there is proof that the Democrats have not learned a single lesson from the election. They're going to double down on stupid. They're going to double down on the hyperboles. They're going to double down on the losing message. And you know what? If they keep doing that, I hope it hurts them in 2026, 2028, and beyond. You know what? I'm not going to complain. If they wanted to learn the lesson, it's pretty obvious. But hey, keep double down on losing. That's... I'm not going to complain about that. Now, there does seem to be at least one Democrat who sees the light, or at least two. Bill Maher had an interesting show this past Friday, and I think he was spot on, but also Stephen A. Smith. And, I don't usually agree with Mr. Smith, but I think he was pretty spot on during this segment.
All these celebrities, Jennifer Lopez, Beyonce, Oprah.
If we don't show up tomorrow, it is entirely possible that we will not have the opportunity to ever cast a ballot again.
You're going to look an audience in the face and you're going to tell them that if you vote for Donald Trump, you may not ever be able to cast a vote again. Who believed that? Who believed that coming from Oprah? Truly, who believed that? This is the kind of stuff that alienates an electorate, that alienates a vote or a voter. Because the freedom that you tell them they have, you try to confiscate morally by letting them know you ain't worth a damn unless you vote the way we say you should vote. Who's going to go for that in a general election with an economy rife with inflation, with over 12 million people coming across the borders, with people wondering about their dollars? The dollars that they earn, the dollars that they have in their pocket, the value of that dollar dissipating before our very eyes. But in the same breath, you're telling them that you got to take even more money out of their pocket to finance immigrants that come all across the border illegally at the behest of the Democratic Party looking to secure a voting bloc. Did you think that would work? Did you think that would work?
And the most frustrating thing about all of this is that one day there actually will be a threat. But no one's going to believe them because they've been crying wolf this whole time. They've been exaggerating when it comes to dictators and authoritarianism. And by the way, it's not just Donald Trump. They've used this against virtually every Republican since I've been alive. Mitt Romney, George Bush, John McCain. I mean, come on. They're just running to the most extreme analogy they can, the most extreme insult they can, and they double down on it election after election, thinking that the rest of us are too stupid to pick up on it. Shame on them. But as always, all of this is just my analysis and commentary. That's what's going on in the world of politics from my point of view, and I would love to hear from you. So what do you think about Tulsi Gabbard as Trump's pick for Director of National Intelligence? Are you worried like Debbie Wasserman Schultz and everyone else that Tulsi Gabbard is a Russian plant, a Russian asset? Or, do you trust Gabby? Do you think she's going to be part of the solution to shake things up in Washington, to, look at things with a fresh perspective rather than, going straight into war mode every single time? Let me know your thoughts down in the comments below. If you haven't already, please be sure to give me a thumbs up. I know it's a simple thing to ask for, but it really does help me in the algorithm to reach more viewers like you. I am so sorry for my congested sounding voice. I've been fighting a bug the last 48, 72 hours. I think I'm on the tail end of it, but I can't wait to be back to normal. But you know what? I would rather have this bug now than during the holidays. So I'm hoping, knock on wood, that I'm paying my dues now so I can enjoy a healthy holiday season. My goal for the year is to reach 100,000 subscribers. If and when we get there, the channel gets there, to celebrate, I will be introducing you to my sleepy, not so sleepy pup, as well as my handsome tuxedo cat. And of course, we'll be celebrating all of you. So if you like what you saw today, if any of that interests you, please be sure to smash that subscribe button and to check out one of these videos.